Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back once again, or for the very first time, to the Farts and Crap Show, where today, as per usual, it's your host, Danjo, here with part 35 of Stick Tips, the segment here on the show all about controllers, adapters, and gaming interface accessories. Hope you guys are all doing well today. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about the newly announced 8bitdo Pro 3 Bluetooth gamepad, the successor, the more premium version, I would call it, of the Pro 2, which has been out for quite some time. And yeah, they now have pre-order pages, both on 8bitdo's website, URL seen here. I will try to link these down in the description as well. And also over on Amazon. And I say newly announced because initially I was going to make a video about this because they didn't do an announcement. They put up the pre-order pages and they were live for a while and they didn't announce it. I was like, oh man, I should make a video on this. And then as I was working on the video, they made the announcement. So it's out now. Yeah. And, but you know what? Still gonna make it because I did a bunch of research for this video. And this isn't like sponsored or anything. And, you know, it's not promoted. 8bitdo didn't send me anything to check out. Although, guys, if you want to, please hit me up. I would gladly do an in-depth look at this. But basically all the info we have to go on right now are the pre-order pages. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. And there is some extra stuff we can extrapolate based on their previous designs. So I'm going to be talking about some of that as well. But yeah, this is the pre-order page over on Amazon. And that's the link for it. Amazon US, that is. Again, I'll try to have these links in the description as well. Sometimes YouTube's weird about putting links in the description. But yeah, this one is priced at the same MSRP as the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth, that is to say $70 USD. And that is $20 more than the Pro 2 Bluetooth. But there's a lot of new tech going on in this. And you also get the charging dock with the thing and the wireless adapter dongle. So honestly, it makes sense for like what you're getting here, in my opinion. And it does come in 3 really cool designs. Like we've seen the gray design before, the G Classic design, which is based on the original Game Boy, although it is a little bit different than what it was, and the new one, which I'm just going to call Indigo because it is clearly based on the Nintendo GameCube. So, very cool. I get why they're doing it, because GameCube is now on Switch Online for Switch 2, and this is going to be compatible with Switch 2, and these are shipping out August 12th. The date is the same, regardless if you go through 8bitdo's store or Amazon. So, seems like the date is already set in. Locked in, already set. There we go. And yeah, we're just going to go over the features real quick. Some of these things I'm going to go a lot more in depth on. Some of these pretty self-explanatory. So multi-platform compatibility, compatible with Switch 1 and 2, Windows, Apple, SteamOS, and Android. Swappable magnetic ABXY buttons. This is brand new. Easily switch between Switch and Xbox layouts with included button puller. So, to those of you who are unfamiliar, ABXYs are swapped between Nintendo and Xbox. So A is on the right on Nintendo, A is on the bottom for Xbox, but now you can actually just change them, which is pretty cool. Integrated charging dock. This appears to be the same dock design as what's included with the Ultimate 2 controllers. So if you're familiar with that, it seems to be the same thing. And TMR joysticks and trigger mode switch. Very cool. TMR joysticks have been featured on the Ultimate 2 controllers before this, the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth and the Ultimate 2 wireless. But it does appear like they're doing something slightly different on the Pro 3, which more on that in a minute. But you can also easily switch between linear Hall effect triggers and non-linear tactile triggers, which more on that in a second too. Includes 2 pro-level back buttons. They are referring to the previously designated P1 and P2, which are tactile dome switches on the back. I was trying to remember the name of those things. And extra R4 and L4 bumpers, so extra shoulder buttons that are also programmable. And a tactile D-pad, which I think by that they mean the updated D-pad design, which I believe first appeared on the Ultimate 2C. I'm sure some people are going to be a little bit disappointed that it's not the traditional Pro 2 D-pad, which by itself feels very good. Like, I've always liked this D-pad. It is pretty much just a traditional SNES design with the expected conductive rubber membranes underneath. And I have a feeling maybe the ABXYs are going to be this hybrid as well that a lot of people are referring to for the tactile D-pad on the Ultimate 2C. But yeah, more on that in a minute. 3 custom profiles, which, yeah, the Pro 2 Bluetooth also has 3 profiles. The Pro 2 wired controller also has 3 profiles. The Pro 2 for Xbox, the original and the Hall effect updated one, have 1 custom profile. I don't know why they didn't keep the 3 custom profiles, but whatever. And 2 ball top joystick caps. I don't see the point in this. It seems like a useless gimmick in my opinion. Maybe it's for the GameCube one, like if you want it to be more like a C-stick, I guess, on the original GameCube, how it was like a nub, basically how people refer to it. Regardless, the analog stick caps are going to be removable / replaceable, so I don't know if it's going to come with other cap types besides the ball tops. Like, for some other Pro controllers, they have like the raised sticks or convex caps compared to concave caps. We'll see, but the possibility is there. And lastly, vibration and motion control for Switch and Steam only. And turbo function, which most of their controllers have turbo capability. And it supports 8bitdo Ultimate Software V2. I was curious about what this was initially. Again, some of these things I had to do some extra research for this video, because Ultimate Software is on version 2.16, I believe. But no, Ultimate Software V2 is actually a separate piece of software available on their website, which I guess has been out for a while and mostly has been for their other accessories like mice and keyboards and such. And yes, it's available on Windows and Mac, but only the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth and Ultimate 2 wireless controller are compatible with it. Like, no other controllers are compatible with it. So if you don't have either of those controllers, but you've been using 8bitdo controllers for quite some time, you may have also been confused by this. But yeah, I guess the Pro 3 is also going to be using this newer version of Ultimate Software. Like, V2 is not replacing the original version. If you have those other controllers that are not compatible with this new version, then yeah, you're still going to need the original Ultimate software. But one thing I do like about this version of Ultimate software is you can also use it for updating the firmware, which is nice to see because traditionally you had to use the 8bitdo firmware updater to update controllers. Like, the only version of Ultimate software so far that has also done the firmware updates is Ultimate Software X, which is acquired through the Microsoft Store. And that's the one that you use for the Xbox branded 8bitdo controllers. So yeah, that was initially kind of confusing, just wanted to clarify that. And yeah, with the swappable magnetic ABXY buttons, this is very interesting to me because the ABXYs, I have the Pro 2 Bluetooth here, the transparent shell update revision that they did. Mine's transparent black. And the ABXYs feel great. I love the feel of the buttons on this controller. Like, part of the reason it's like one of my go-to controllers, like I love the Pro 2s, which is why I have 4 of them, like the Pro 2 wired controller, the Pro 2 Bluetooth, and the Pro 2 for Xbox, the original version, and the Pro 2 for Xbox with the Hall Effect update. They are all great, in my opinion. Pro 2 wired definitely feels like they cut some corners on that controller, especially with like the durability of the inputs, which is kind of awful. That's what one of my Stick Tips episodes is about. But yeah, I'm curious if this also changes the actual mechanism for the input. Like, are they just using tactile dome switches under there? Is it still going to be conductive rubber membranes? They don't clarify, but I think updating the inputs to the dome switches would actually probably feel pretty good, considering the D-pad is also going to be this, seemingly, this updated tactile D-pad, not the traditional Super Nintendo style D-pad. So we'll have to see on that. But I do like the look of the mechanism here. It does look like the button design is pretty much the same, which is great. But yeah, I'm just curious as to functionally how it's going to feel. And also, it's going to have to use some pretty strong magnetism for those buttons to feel like they're not going to like lift accidentally. So we'll have to see. And the TMR joysticks. So this is seemingly an updated version of their TMR joysticks they've already used before, or at least the sampling chip. So in their own words, featuring market-leading TMR joysticks for higher sensitivity, greater precision, and enhanced, all one word, durability, all while consuming less power, equipped with a 12-bit ADC sampling chip. No idea what that means, but they did not state that for their other controllers that have TMR joysticks. And thankfully, these joysticks are going to have the, I'm assuming, metallic, wear-resistant joystick rings. Because previously, on all their Pro 2 controllers, they were just plastic. And so over time, with lots of use, especially if you were using the full range of the analog sticks and to where they're rubbing against the anti-friction ring, They did scratch a little bit over time. It didn't affect the feel, but I imagine it would eventually. And it's not the smoothest, I will say. So this is a very welcome update. But yeah, this is from the page for their Ultimate 2 Bluetooth and Ultimate 2 Wireless. And they don't mention anything about the 12-bit, the sampling chip. So either they're the same joysticks, or they're new. It wouldn't surprise me if they're the same TMR units, but they just updated the sampling chip. But yeah, seemingly the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth and Ultimate 2 Wireless do not have that change. And yeah, the triggers, the L2 and R2s, so apparently are Hall effect for the analog input, and I do very much like the L2 and R2 on the Pro 2, or LT and RT, I guess, if you're used to the Xbox nomenclature, but it has a mode switching toggle, so easily switch between linear Hall effect triggers and non-linear tactile triggers for optimal control across different gaming scenarios. So yeah, for you FPS players out there that like the triggers to be quick stop, like hair triggers, it's gonna have that capability, which is pretty great. More options for the players, I say. And I have heard some people with the L2 and R2s on the Pro 2, at least the wired version, and I think the original Xbox version, were a little problematic. Personally, on my Pro 2 Bluetooth, at least on this one, I know this is not the first version. The ones that have the transparent shells are actually a revision. They feel great, and especially on the Pro 2 for Xbox, the Hall effect update, they feel really good. I don't know if the triggers were also updated to be Hall effect on the Pro 2 for Xbox. I'm actually taking a second to look that up right now. Hall effect. They might be. I think only the analog sticks were updated, but no, the triggers are also Hall effect. But yeah, that they do feel markedly different from the original Pro 2 for Xbox, so that does make a lot of sense. So I'm glad they're updating that, because honestly, on the Pro 2 Bluetooth, they do feel good, but they do feel a little cheap. Like, the motion is very smooth, but to be real, on this controller, I don't think I've used the L2 and R2 all that much. So that is really good to see. And lastly, this is the main last thing I wanted to talk about. They labeled, so they did change the label on the back paddles, as I call them, the pro level back buttons. They used to be called P1 and P2. Now they're PR and PL, which paddle right and paddle left, I guess, which does make a lot more sense, to be real, because P1 and P2 I always thought was labeled strangely, because the left back button was always P2 and the right one is P1, which makes sense if you turn the controller around to look at the buttons, but that's if it's flipped. That only makes sense if the controller is backwards. So yeah, I've never understood that. So this is a welcome change, in my opinion. But yeah, the toggle mode switch. Apparently apparently has 3 modes now, and no, I'm not talking about the 3 dots above the switch. That is quite literally the connectors, I believe, for the dock, like for charging it, which would make sense because the battery on a Pro 2 is typically behind the sticker right there in the middle. But no, apparently it has 3 modes for wireless communication now. So S, D, and S/X. So I'm assuming that's switch mode, direct input, and the 2.4 gigahertz mode. Because right under that, it just says BT and 2.4G. So I'm assuming for direct input and switch, it's using Bluetooth, because I'm pretty sure direct input is mostly for Android. And on the Switch, it'll be able to do either 2.4 gigahertz or Bluetooth, which I believe is different from the Ultimate 2 Bluetooth. I think it only works on Bluetooth mode for that, from what I've heard. And I guess X input is going to be 2.4 gigahertz, which would make sense. And it also comes with the dock. So the dock has the dongle integrated into it, much like their previous docks. Although this one is USB Type-C, which kind of makes sense, because with the smaller connector, it would be easier to plug and unplug from the dock in case you don't need the dock and you just want to plug the dongle into the device it's going to be communicating to. But I'm pretty sure the dongle is only for 2.4 gigahertz. Which leads me to my main point / question. Is it going to utilize the 8-speed tech? Because this was introduced with the 8bitdo Ultimate 2 wireless controller, not the Bluetooth one. The wireless one is 2.4 gigahertz only, there's no Bluetooth on it, but it does boast a 1000 hertz pulling rate and this 8-speed tech, which as far as I can tell, the Ultimate 2 Wireless is the only 8bitdo controller that uses this. So I'm just going to read what they got here. So developed over 10 years by 8bitdo, 8-speed delivers an exceptionally stable 2.4 GHz connection with ultra-low latency as low as 1 millisecond. Engineered for rock-solid reliability, it features strong anti-interference and a 10-meter range with virtually no lag. Highly energy efficient and ensures seamless, uninterrupted, and long-lasting gameplay. So I'm curious, is the Pro 2 going to have the 1000 hertz pulling rate? And does that also coincide with the TMR sticks that are also more energy efficient? So it seems to me like they're trying to keep the latency down as much as possible and extend the battery life. Because the battery life on 8bitdo controllers is always very good. Like, very good. I hardly ever have to charge my Pro 2 Bluetooth, and like my other 8bitdo controllers, like the battery just like goes and goes and goes. But I still don't like having batteries in my controllers. Like, I prefer the wired controllers. Like, Pro 2 for Xbox is wired only, and I actually prefer that. But 2.4 gigahertz is the next best thing. Especially with this kind of tech, potentially, because you're probably not going to be able to feel the difference between the 2.4 gigahertz connection and the wired connection. Because honestly, I hate latency. All kinds of things introduce latency. Like adapters, your display that you're using, consoles, controllers themselves. every single thing introduces latency, even like my keyboard. Like, I hate Bluetooth keyboards. I use a 2.4 gigahertz. Like, I really like 2.4 gigahertz if I have to use wireless. So it'd be great if they could clarify this. I have no idea. I actually already asked. That was my response to their announcement. It was like, hey, is it going to use 8-speed tech? Because they don't clarify. But overall, like, it looks like a very solid controller. Like, I'm pretty excited about this one. It is coming out in less than a month. Again, that's August 12th. Doesn't matter if you order through their website or through Amazon. It's the same date, unless it gets delayed, obviously. But yeah, with all these updates, like the TMR sticks, like seemingly new TMR technology, potentially the 8-speed tech for the 2.4 gigahertz connection, the new style ABXYs, the tactile D-pad, which unclear exactly what they mean by that, but based on the listings of their other controllers, it does seem to be that updated D-pad design. The L4 and R4, like Ultimate Software version 2, which is totally different. The included dock and the dongle, like, there's a lot to unpack. There really is. And like, it's still $15 cheaper than a Switch 2 Pro controller. So I don't know. I'm excited for this one. Definitely not dropping 70 on it, but I would be interested to, like, very interested to pick one up and give it a more thorough look and all that jazz. Like, I'm still testing my Pro 2 for Xbox, Hall Effect version. I've been using that pretty much for all my gaming sessions since December. So yeah, still definitely gonna have a full analysis video on that. But yeah, I wanted to get this out quickly. Again, like, if you guys were hoping for that Final Fantasy IX episode today, sorry, that'll resume tomorrow, the usual time slot, noon Eastern. But before we get going, it's time for the outro. Special thanks, updates, all that good stuff, and a very special thank you going out to the current Farts and Crap Show members, which at the time of recording is Novellus Draconis, Aaron Shake, and 97 Johnny Boy. Thank you so very much for choosing to support the show a bit more directly via channel membership. It vastly helps out, very much appreciated, and it is very much optional, so you guys are extra awesome for doing so. But if you want to be incredibly awesome like these amazing people and get in on all those membership benefits and, you know, help us afford decent food and keeping the lights on and stuff, check out that join button down below. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's no join button for you. There's also a link in the description that talks about becoming a channel member that does the same thing. But yeah, membership tiers start at $3 a month. That's roughly 10 cents a day. It gets you into all the basic stuff, including getting to vote on the series get made here on the channel via the Members' Choice polls. It's a thing we do once a month for a full 7 days over on the membership tab, and that is how all of the series get decided. So, if you guys want to get in on that, we will have one coming up for July 2025. It's likely going to be the last week of the month. Yet again, it's been that way for all of 2025 so far. And if that is the case, that means it will be starting on the 24th of the month, I believe. And it always runs for a full week, so it will be running up until August 1st. But yeah. And I don't know what it's going to be about quite yet. I'll have to look into that the closer we get to that date, but that's because this is an approximation of future announcements from the past. So, if you want all the announcements as they happen and the bell doesn't work for you, I get it, the bell doesn't work for me either. But there are 4 other ways to stay up to date. So we have the post tab here on the channel, the Farts and Crap Show Twitter, the Bluesky, and the Discord. I always post on all 4 whenever there's an announcement, so regardless of which one of those works for you, you can stay up to date. and links for those are down in the description, also on the channel banner. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. So, thank you all once again for being here, guys. Till next time, take care, and I hope you all have an incredible day.